Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another 2-Minute Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about something that happens once in a while in projects, and it's about visibility of records. As you know, I'm a big proponent of keeping things simple when it comes to security, when it comes to accessing data inside of Dynamics 365. But there are some cases where you can't avoid but having multiple business units, in your organization. Even though we know that we are trying to work with just one of them, sometimes you need more than one. The problem with that is that there's always people at your organization that need visibility to everything. So even though our plan is to control maybe visibility to records based on what business unit you're a member of, there's some cases where sales managers or directors or the VP of sales or whatever needs access to, view all of the information. But what happens when those sales managers or sales directors want to see only the information on the business unit they're responsible for? Maybe they do have permissions to see everything, but you only want to show them records within their business unit. Now, this is complicated to do with security roles, because with security roles, obviously, we have a level which we can set at the business unit level. And at that point, even if you go to the active accounts view, for example, you will be able to see only accounts owned by users or teams, I guess, within the business unit you're a member of. If your security role limits you to read records within your business unit. The problem comes when you can read everything on the organization, but you want to see only records within your business unit. So how do you do that? And that's the topic for today's episode. There's another case in which this example could be beneficial. And for example, maybe you are working heavily with teams, but you only want to see records owned by actual users within your business unit, not teams. You want to exclude teams from it. So you'll be able to use the same technique for visibility when it comes to looking at records owned by other users within your business unit. So let's start the countdown and let's go. So here, as you can see, I have 3 business units: the Elevate Solutions business unit, the East, and the West. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the customization section to create a new view. So I'm going to go to customization. Now, obviously, again, I'm not following the best practices, which is you will be adding these customizations into a solution that you can test in development and then move along to testing or UAT and then eventually to production. Here, we're sort of taking a shortcut and just going straight into the default solution. But I'm going to open the account entity. I'm going to open views. And I'm going to save a view as another view. I'm going to take an out-of-the-box view, and I'm going to create the effect that we're shooting for here. In this case, I'm going to take the active accounts. So I'm going to open active accounts, and I'm going to click on Save As when this form loads in order to create another view, which is the one that I'm going to be applying the filter to get the records that are owned by other users within my business unit. Again, even if I have access to all of the data in the organization, I only want to see records within the business unit I'm a member of. Okay, so I'm going to click on Save As I mentioned, and we're going to say active accounts in my business unit. Okay, click OK. Wait a couple seconds for this to save. And now that it's saved, I'm going to go to Edit Filter Criteria. And here's where we're going to add our filter. So this filter, by the way, is explained in detail on Jukka Nierenen's post from a couple of years ago. He posted it back in 2013. I'll post the link on the description below so you can see sort of the step-by-step description of this step. And he wrote this great article about advanced queries with Advanced Find. So you should definitely check it out. This is just one of his examples. So let's go really quick and navigate down to the related records. And I'm going to go to the owning user. Okay, so I'm going to select owning user. And what we're looking for is the business unit within the owning user. So we're going to, once again, scroll down to the related records and go for the Bs in here. Click on business unit. But now we need to make sure we're selecting the user that matches whoever is logged in. So I'm going to scroll down to the related records and I'm going to select users. And within the users, it's going to be, I'm looking for business units where the user equals the current user. So whoever is looking at that view on that particular moment. So again, it's a sort of a triple layered filter that we're going to be using here, where the owning user is part of a business unit where there's a user inside that business unit that equals the current user. It's kind of a weird way to see it, but it totally works. So we're going to click OK here, and we're going to click on Save and Close. And after that, we're going to go and publish our changes. So here we're going to navigate back to the entity, and we're going to click on Publish. Now, once the changes are published, look, I'm going to navigate to another instance of Dynamics. In this case, I am logged in as John Doe, who's the director of sales. John can see all of the records, as you can see, inside the active accounts view. But I loaded a new view, which is active accounts in my business unit. So we're going to navigate back to dashboards, for example, and then we're going to go back into accounts to load up the view for John Doe, my director of sales. Now, John happens to be part of the East business unit. So what we're trying to look for is to make sure that only the accounts that are on the East will be displayed. So here we go. That's our new view. And there you go. I actually added a new column so you can see the business unit and the owner. So there's several owners in here, Veronica, Spencer, etc. But they're all on the East business unit. So that's how you do it. I hope you enjoyed today's tip, and we'll see you next week.